Great morning, students. Welcome to today's class online on biology. Our topic today is mineral requirements of plants, and the objectives we'll look at is to list plant nutrient elements under the major classes, recognize deficiency symptoms of different elements in crops, to define culture solution, and also illustrate the different nutrient cycles using diagrams. All right. So coming to mineral requirements of plants. Plants require mineral nutrients or elements obtained from the soil in form of solution for good growth and healthy development. Now, these plants, they take this mineral element from the soil by using their roots. And that soil is the main source of mineral salts, while gaseous elements like oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon are derived from the atmosphere. So these elements, they are grouped into classes depending on the quantity that is required by plants, and we have them as the macronutrients and the micronutrients. So the macronutrients are also called major elements. They are mineral elements required in large quantities for healthy growth of plants. Examples of them, we have nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, calcium, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon, sulfur, and iron. So these macro elements, they are sometimes called essential elements. You can see the picture, essential elements. Okay, you can see the picture. Remember, I said that plants takes these mineral elements from the soil using their roots. You can see K as potassium, you can see N as nitrogen, and H2O as water. All right? Okay. So the next one is macronutrients. They are also called trace elements. They are required by plants in small quantities for healthy growth of plants. Examples of micronutrients are zinc, copper, boron, molybdenum, cobalt, chlorine, and manganese. Okay? Now we'll look at the functions and deficiency symptoms of these elements. The element functions and its deficiency. We have nitrogen, they aid protein synthesis. They also help in formation of nucleic acid. They constitute to all enzymes. They are constituents of all enzymes and protoplasm. Now, the deficiency of this nitrogen leads to stunted growth, yellow leaves, or small or reduced leaves. Now, we have phosphorus. It aids protein formation and also formation of coenzymes. They control nuclear division, and it also helps in root development and also fruit formation and maturity. Now, deficiency of phosphorus leads to poor growth. The leaves and the stem turn reddish brown. There is poor root development, resulting in logging. We also have potassium. This one leads to cell formation. It aids synthesis of carbohydrates. It activates various plant enzymes, and also helps in cell membrane formation. Now, the deficiency of potassium leads to weaker slender stems, delayed growth, brown color at margin of leaves. Now, we also have calcium. This one helps in formation of cell wall. It activates certain enzymes, neutralizes organic acid, and also helps in normal growth of root tips. Now, deficiency of calcium leads to weak slender plants, poor root development, and also stunted growth. We also have magnesium. Magnesium helps in chlorophyll formation. Remember, we said before that chlorophyll is the green pigment of plants. Okay, now the deficiency of magnesium leads to yellowing of leaves and poor growth. We also have sulfur. It helps in protein synthesis, formation of certain proteins in the protoplasm. The deficiency is that it results to stunted growth and slender stem yellow, and also yellowing of leaves. That yellowing of leaves is called chlorosis. We also have iron. Iron also helps in formation of chlorophyll. Now, it results to yellowing of leaves and also stunted growth. Then the last one here, we have manganese. It helps in activation of some of the enzymes. Now, die back of the shoots, sorry, if there is deficiency of manganese. Okay. We also have copper. Copper helps in constituents of respiratory enzymes. It leads to poor growth and pale green color of leaves. Also, zinc helps in activation of enzymes. It leads to poor leaf formation if there is the lack or deficiency of zinc. Now we have boron. It helps in transportation of calcium and sugar. It leads to shoots will turn brown if there is deficiency of boron. Okay, hope you are understanding. Now we have molybdenum. This one aids nitrogen fixation and also metabolism of nitrates. It leads to retarded growth and necrosis of leaf tissues. Now we have silicon. It helps in cell wall formation. It leads to poor growth if there is deficiency. Okay, so that is it for functions and deficiencies in terms of these elements. Now, looking at culture solution. A culture solution is a solution containing all the major elements required by plants for their normal growth and development. Now, this culture solution, we have two types. We have complete culture solution and we have incomplete culture solution. The complete culture solution is the solution that contains all the major elements in the right proportion needed by the plant for healthy growth and development. Okay, that is the complete, that is the major one, the macro elements. Now, the incomplete culture solution is the solution that lack one or more of these elements required by plants for healthy growth and development. Now, we have examples of this culture solution that are usually prepared in the laboratory. We have NURBS culture and SACS culture solution. Now, these culture solutions, they are called complete culture solutions because they contain all the major elements necessary for plant growth. Okay. Now we are going to look at nitrogen cycle. Here, the nitrogen cycle is the most important nutrient cycle in our ecosystem. Ecosystem is our environment. Okay. Now, nitrogen cycle is the pathway through which nitrogen elements are replenished and circulated in our environment. Okay, it have different processes. We have 5 of them. We have the nitrogen fixation, we have nitrification. You can see their formula by their side. We have assimilation, we have ammonification, and denitrification. So let's look at nitrogen fixation. Now, nitrogen gas in the atmosphere is transformed to nitrates by nitrogen fixing bacteria in soil or root nodules or lightning. Now, the Haber process converts nitrogen gas into ammonia used in fertilizers. You can see the picture down. We have the nitrogen compounds, that is the nitrogen from air going to the leaves. We have photosynthesis products, then we have bacterium. Okay, all right. So we have nitrification. It is a two-step process that is carried out by nitrifying bacteria. Ammonia or ammonium ions, they are oxidized first to nitrites before they will now transform to nitrates. Okay, then we have ammonification. Ammonification is decay. The decomposers, that is certain soil bacteria and fungi. Example, we have ammonifying bacteria. They break down proteins in dead organisms and animal waste, thereby releasing ammonium ions. You can see the picture down. You can see animal, the physics of animal. nitrogen compounds in dead organisms and waste. They decompose to turn ammonium ion. Okay, all right. Then the next one, we have assimilation. This one is the process by which plants and animals incorporate the NO, NO3 is nitrogen fixing bacteria, and ammonia formed through the nitrogen fixation and nitrification. Now here, plant takes up these forms of nitrogen through their roots and incorporates them into plant proteins and nucleic acid. Animals here are able to utilize nitrogen from plant tissues. Okay, that is assimilation, process by which plants and animals incorporate nitrogen fixing bacteria and ammonia formed through the nitrogen fixation and nitrification. Now, the last one here is denitrification. This is the reduction of NO3 to gaseous N2, that is nitrogen fixation, by anaerobic bacteria. This process only occurs where there is little or no oxygen, such as deep in the soil near the water table. Now, hence, areas such as wetlands provide a valuable place for reducing excess nitrogen levels via denitrification process. Okay, so this is it for the nitrogen cycle, and you can see the nitrogen cycle diagram here. Antibiotics could alter the ability of bacteria to process nitrates to nitrites and interrupt the cycle. Here, that is denitrification by bacteria. Okay, so this is plants. Remember, plants require mineral nutrients or elements for good growth and healthy development, and the main source of mineral salt is the soil, and the atmosphere is the main source of gaseous elements. And remember, plant nutrients or elements are grouped into classes: the macronutrients and the micronutrients. So this is the end of our class. Thank you for listening. If you have any question, you can drop your question. This is your reinforcement. Thank you and goodbye. Have a nice day ahead.